Hey, Bitsians! Well, I'm standing in front of you to take you through a jungle of Indian crafts. Now, why do I call it a jungle? Jungle because it's beautiful, jungle because it's natural, jungle because it needs to be preserved and sustained. Next slide, please. So what you see here is actually a leather painting. Leather painting has its roots in about 3 BC, and it gained its prominence around the Vijayanagara Empire in India. And this particular painting has been done by an artisan in Nirmala Kunta, which is in Andhra Pradesh. Hold on, please. Thank you. So, I'm going to take you through 2 different craft forms and tell you more about it, and then get into the problems that these artisans are facing in the country as of now. So this painting has been created, as I told you, by an artisan called Thiru, and he has a family of 5. His father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather were in the leather painting business. His grandfather leather painting gets its history from leather puppetry, where the artisans used to take these leather puppets and go from village to village depicting the Ramayana and Mahabharata. And that's how it gained prominence, but over the period of time, this craft form died because new media of like theater, television came into prominence. But then these artisans got into the new forms to take this art from, like leather paintings, leather lamps, and other forms. So this is one of those particular leather paintings, and his uncle is a national award winner. Next slide. Now what you see on the screen behind me is another form called wood marquetry or wood inlay. If any of you have been to the Mysore Palace, you can actually see the walls of the Mysore Palace with ivory inlay work. So wood marquetry and wood inlay are a little different. As in wood marquetry, what you do is actually you carve out different pieces of wood of different color and stick them together to form the picture. But in wood inlay, you actually carve out a piece of wood and then stick something in between them. So as you can see in this particular slide, we have about 5 different pictures wherein the artisan actually sketches out the picture in a piece of paper, then sticks them on different colored wood, carves them out, and then sticks them together to form a beautiful picture, which I can show in the next slide. So this, what you see behind me, is actually been created by sticking different pieces of wood together to form a village scene. And this particular piece takes about 8 days to create. Next slide. Just to give you some rough numbers, so this is the market of Indian handicrafts, which has been growing over the last couple of years. 2009 was a sad year, mainly because of the recession, but it has bounced back in 2010. So overall, the Indian handicraft market is close to about 20,000 crores. And these numbers are only the export numbers. Nobody knows what is the sale from the domestic, what is the domestic sale in the Indian market, mainly because of a couple of reasons. One, the fakes sold in Indian market, consumers not ready to buy these products because they don't know if those products are authentic. Previous slide, please. Previous slide, thank you. So, 23 plus million people. This is just the Indian industry. After agriculture, handicraft is the second largest occupation in India with 23 plus million people. The plus is an important point here because nobody knows exactly what is the exact number. Some people say it's 23 million, some people say it's 40 million. So I've taken the conservative number saying that 23 is the minimum, so 23 plus million people, artisans and craftsmen in India alone, with being the second largest occupation in India. What is happening to them? I'll take you through some of the opportunities and obstacles that we are facing in this particular industry. Diversity. Very important. And very important from the point of being Indian, because we ourselves are so diverse. If you just go to Rajasthan, you would see different craft forms just from Rajasthan, be it the leather carving works, be it your leather carving and applique work, then you get your marble work from Jaipur, blue pottery from Udaipur. So these are just 4 very well-known craft forms just from Rajasthan itself. and you go deep down into other cities and other states, you find that there is humongous amount of craft forms available there. Just to give you an example, I'll take myself as an example. Who am I? I'm an artist, I love to paint. I'm a father, I'm a son to someone. I love to play football. I have some gray hairs too. So considering that, the reason I am able to mix with others because I find something common with the other person. And that is very true when we say that unity in diversity. That is because we unite with others, that is because we are so diverse. I'll go to the next slide, please. Thanks. Sustainability. So I'll take a few minutes on talking about sustainability. How do we sustain these particular craft forms? So 10% of these artisans and craft people give away their craft forms every 7 to 10 years. Reason being, they are not able to get the money that they work for. Let's take that example of a handmade product and a machine-made product. The wood marquetry product that I just showed you about, so that particular craft piece took about 8 days for Vasant, this artisan who created that particular piece. Now, he spent 8 days, and let's take, for example, his raw material for that particular wood was about approximately 200 rupees. Now, these people are not educated enough to price their product. At the end of the day, he would sell it for maximum about 300 rupees. And all he's charging you for 8 days is 100 rupees. So that's not fair to him. Now take, for example, a machine-made product. Machine-made product of a similar kind would actually take hardly about 1 day on a max on the higher side. And you would get the same product with a better finishing at almost about 200 or 150 rupees. This is just ballpark numbers. Now, you as a consumer, when you go out to the market to buy these kind of products, you would obviously go for a well-finished product, not caring if it is handmade or machine-made. This is one of the reasons why this kind of art form or handicraft is dying in India, or pretty sure in other parts of the world too. So what do we do to sustain them? Next slide. So what some of us are doing is selling these products as a story rather than on the face value of that particular product. To give you another example, let's take for example a Mewar painting. Mewar is a province in Rajasthan. And what happens with the Mewar painting is that it's a 16th century art. But why have people been buying Mewar paintings till now? It's because it is vibrant. Rajasthan has very vibrant colors and people like to use those vibrant colors on the white or beige wall. So what we are saying is that instead of buying a Mewar painting because it's vibrant and would look good on your white or beige wall, buy it because it's a 16th century art. Earlier it was done using ivory, and since ivory got banned, people started using camel bone and a single strand of squirrel hair taken from its neck because that's the hardest, miniature painted on silk with gold border. So what happens when you tell a story to a person? The intrinsic value of that product increases. The appreciator who is looking to buy that particular product appreciates the product more, makes an educated buy, and then makes a purchase. The third part is to sustain it, is to buy authentic products. As I was telling about giving the example of buying handmade products versus machine-made products. So most of our artisans give away their job and get into other kinds of labor like construction, other things, because they are not able to sustain themselves. And my urge to you is to, if you're looking to buy something, buy authentic products rather than machine-made products. So this slide talks about the sustainable model. I'll take about a minute or two on this. So the 4 parts to a sustainable model is social networking. So social networking could be kind of partnering with institutions like the design institutions of NID or Srishti in Bangalore and other schools and getting the designs to these artisans, what we are trying to do. Second is social networking platform. So create a platform for the artisans to interact with each other and get a fair value for their products. The next is educating the client about that particular product. Third is transparency. Be transparent with the artisans. Just to give an example, so when I was visiting Nirmala Kunta to meet these artisans, they were very hesitant to meet me. They said that there's another person who's coming from the city and he's here to exploit us. So there's a fear in the mind of these artisans and they're not ready to come out of the shell because they have been exploited over a couple of, if not years, but a couple of decades. And they are not ready to open up. You speak to them for a couple of times, and then they realize, okay, yes, this is not an enemy. But at the same time, what happens is that they have been so exploited by the middlemen in between, is that they are very hesitant to open up and comfort to you. So transparency is very important. So tell them how you're going to help them out, and reach out to them and help them market their products, and this helps them. And the last one is social investment. How do you invest back into the society? So once you sell their products, is there a medium to invest back into the society, give it back to them, and that should be the objective. So I'm on to my final slide, and I'm sure I'll be breaking the barrier by finishing out. Oh, I missed it. I thought that I'll cross it by half the time. But the couple of challenges that we faced was handmade versus machine-made, which I just spoke about. Language. 22 official languages in India. You go from one state to the other and the language changes. You go from one village to the other, the language and the dialect changes. So any Indian who has lived in different states and different cities for some time could obviously pick up about 4 or 5 languages. I speak 5 languages. And, but even that 5 languages is about what, 20% of the overall Indian languages. So it's very difficult to communicate with these artisans in the local language. So that is one of the biggest barriers that we faced. The next one was logistics. India is a vast country. Getting a product from one place to the other, fighting for all the policies is very difficult. So that was another logistics, but we are managing it somehow. And the last part, what we talk about is sustenance that I also covered for a couple of minutes before. The final slide, please. So this slide talks about 12 different craft forms from different parts of India, all authentic products, all handmade, and all ready to be bought by consumers like you and us. But are we ready to support them and buy these products? Is the question I want to leave you with. Thank you.